Here's my thumb. Wee.
Good morning.
Wee. I have all these real sounds stuck in my head. Wee.
It's not a thing.
Good morning and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Hey, you remembered it. I don't think it's, well, we'll see when it finishes recording if I put my name at the bottom or not. Anyway,
Probably did.
it's not there right now.
I know.
It says recording.
I know.
But hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in actually nice weather, Brevard, North Carolina. What?
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there. It's gonna be hot today.
Oh,
Well, low 80s.
that's, I mean, for some of our viewers, that's not hot. And for others of our viewers, it's like, wow. So yeah, we're right in the middle, kind of. So yeah. But we're gonna stay in the shade as much as we can. I'm trying to think. I can't even remember all the things I probably need to do today. So I won't bore y'all with that. But anyway, I don't know what to do with myself, Liz, because I almost feel rested. It's weird.
I do and I don't, because I woke up at 5:30 and
Well,
went, what time is it? Crap, I've got to be up in an hour. Can I go back to sleep? Maybe.
Oh, I can always go back to sleep.
Yes and no, because
Really?
I had only an hour, and so I fell back to sleep, and then at 6 I woke up panic stricken, and yeah.
Well, see,
so it kind of,
my cat always wakes me up in the 4 o'clock hour, and sometimes I can't get right back to sleep, so I have to scroll on my phone and do things until I fall back asleep. So I have become the expert of getting maybe 1 more hour of sleep in there, and then when the alarm wakes me up, it's a little abrupt, and sometimes it's anxiety producing. But I was so tired last night. Everything was thrown off, and I was just at 7 I was ready to go to bed, and I didn't, because I knew I would wake up early in the morning and be ridiculously tired. But I did manage to get in bed by 9 last night. Doesn't mean I went to sleep then, but I think I'm more rested.
sometime between 9:45 and 10:15 we got to 999 viewers.
I know, when we're still at
And we're still
999.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying to Liz, it's a pretty number, but what the okay, that's out of my system now. I did just check again, because I'm
I know, I keep checking because
by the time this airs, we could be at 1,000, but right at the time of filming, we're at 999. Which again, it's a pretty number, doesn't get us there. So I took a little screenshot. I might do a Facebook, Instagram post if it doesn't reach the magic 1,000. And you know us, if we're gonna give you a sale, we'd like it to be steady, to have stayed there for a day or so, because
or be
at least a few over, right?
3 or 4,
because it does
so
this a lot, and so we'll be we got it up and we're down, and we don't tend to lose more than 1, but that puts us back at 999. I think someone out there who's not subscribed just because they know that everyone's waiting. Someone else could beat you to it if you want to be the 1,000th, and we'd have no way of knowing who's the 1,000th, because it doesn't tell us who subscribes when. No. It does magic, just ta-da, look, you have it. We don't even know who all our subscribers are. I get emails about some of them, but not all. So it's I don't even know who is and is not still subscribed at this point, other than people telling me.
Yeah.
To be a very trusting person. So look at me. It looks like I drank a lot of water today, but I've been nursing this sucker for 2 weeks. So
well, in your defense, it's a big bottle of water.
I have discovered at home, I stay super hydrated if I put a packet of flavor into it, the Emergency, which should be good for me too, because I'm getting extra nutrients or something, right? But I'll guzzle that sucker, but just water, I'm Some people like the taste of water. I don't know why it's not that appealing to me. I think I'm just addicted to tasty stuff. I don't know. Anyway, hi. It's Tuesday, so we get to just talk about the weekend and progress and things
I
like that. There's
actually got a lot
no show
done.
notes, no agenda. I feel like I'm really close to the microphone today. I'm gonna do that because I get loud. You were the quiet sister on Saturday. I get loud. Was it Saturday or was it Friday? Saturday. I think it was
Saturday, I
yeah.
was definitely the quiet sister.
Well, she had help. We had friends in the shop and there was gabbing going on, which is fantastic. But then I was trying to listen to someone quiet in a mask and it was a challenge. It's always a challenge. No, it's not. Yeah, we both got I was surprised because I just focused on socks. I got a lot done. And so did Liz. You're wearing something new.
I finished a Ranunculi.
Woo! And we don't have bright lights on us, so it's hard to see what you made.
Yeah,
But it's
it's
a
navy
dark
too,
blue.
so
Yeah,
or
it's really pretty.
yeah. It's done. It's huge.
So what was the yarn you used for this?
I used Zoe
Mm-hmm.
and
Juniper Moon Farm Zoe.
yep, I
Cotton and linen blend.
put it on 11 needle.
It always comes out bigger for this. So like that neckline is not typical of a ranunculus. This is typical of a ranunculus. It also depends on the fiber
Yes.
and your gauge,
Yes.
which we always say, oh yeah, you don't need to test your gauge with a ranunculus. I didn't have to sit down.
Oh, what
but
do you want me to stand back
I
up?
don't know. It's okay.
Okay.
Only if you want to show off the bottom again or when
Well,
you get to that
I
point.
don't think they can see it.
No show notes. You crocheted an edge on the bottom. Yeah.
With an L hook, so it's the same size hook as the needles that
Mhm.
I use. So it's a little longer than I wanted, but it's so ginormously oversized that
Yeah.
it really
Well,
doesn't
okay,
matter.
and since it doesn't really matter what size you made because you went up, like most people are going down on needle
Yeah.
sizes and things like that when they're playing around with ranunculi. With a ranunculus pattern, when you make more than one, we're calling it ranunculi. So what size instructions did you follow?
I've been following the same size for all of them because now I like have them memorized.
And what size is
size
that?
8.
I'm like, because I don't know.
No.
I don't remember.
It's size 8.
Okay.
So
So what you're wearing is a size 8 on 11 needles.
yes.
And this is a size 5 on the 10s, but this is worsted weight and yours is like a DK weight,
Yeah.
right? Kind of.
Yeah.
And plant fiber DK is going to behave a lot different than a animal fiber
Yeah.
DK. So
Yeah.
yes, so that might stretch more over time, and some people would say it might bounce back when washed, but who knows?
Who knows? I think the linen's going to be a little stabilizing in there too.
A little bit, yeah.
I didn't remember how far below the armpits I did my last one.
Mhm.
So
you just
I was like, oh, I'll do both my red one and my blue one to 3 inches. And then I got this one done. I'm
That's
like,
only 3 inches
well, it's 3 inches.
Oh.
And then
because the armhole is nice and drapey long too.
yeah,
Okay.
it's 3 inches from the armpit down on the body. And then I just did a cap sleeve. Like I didn't even,
Mhm.
it's just single crochets at the bottom.
Okay.
And then this scallopy edges around the arm.
Because I would say from the last shaping you did on the yoke, because you did more raglan shaping after that.
Yeah.
But if you measure down the front, I would
It's-
say that's probably a good 5-6 inches.
at least.
Yeah. Until she did the crochet at the bottom. Liz likes to crochet the bottom of hers. I don't. I keep all of it knitting. I love crochet. I don't tend to merge the two as much as Liz does.
I crochet the bottom because I lose the will to knit. So
As it happens, you know.
this one I got
Is that also on an 11?
yes, this is the Patagonia.
And that is an example because the Patagonia is more like a really light DK or sport weight. And at least right now, when it's not on you, like it's got a different opaqueness to it.
Yep.
It's
fluffs.
very different. Yes, it fluffs up, whereas plant fibers will not fluff up. They will fluff off. They will shed. Exhibit this one sheds all over my pants. But they don't fluff up. So it's more open and see-through.
And before I started the crochet bottom on this, because both of these were the same long after the sleeve separation, I pulled like an inch out. And
Okay, so you backed out. I was gonna
I-
say it looks so much smaller.
I
But-
backed out an inch and then
You raised it up.
I
Cool.
raised it up.
Look
But
at that
I'm
cute
gonna
little-
do
and-
actual longer
And
sleeves.
you
on
made
this.
up your own thing for the bottom. It's
Mhm.
not like someone can find that written down somewhere.
No, this is all kind of me.
Make a note. Liz did it and she didn't write it down
I-
and she's not communicating
like-
with anybody. Make up your own bottom if you want to crochet it.
On some of my bottoms, they come out exactly perfect where
Mhm.
everything lines up perfect. And on some of them, they don't. So budget.
It looks like your red one, the Patagonia, has more of instead of just a shell, it looks like it's got more of a point to it. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes, these.
Or is that the fiber again? Because
Nope, these
the
I
one-
did little points.
the one she's wearing, and you're right in front of the microphone. Can you scooch that
Oh,
way?
yeah.
And do that again.
So these have little points.
Because the one she's wearing, I can see because I have better lighting here than you have on camera.
These are just scallops.
They're just swoops,
Yeah.
and the one on the Patagonia seems to go new, boop,
Yeah.
you, boop.
I wanted them to be different. So I was like, oh, let me try
Variations
this.
on a theme.
So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
so this will eventually get longer sleeves and
My lace weight ranunculus is in the same spot it was last time. I might have knit a few more rows, but I really don't think it's worth holding up because it is still nowhere near done. So, because I've been doing socks, and oh, by the way, you are also wearing a new dress.
I am.
Okay. You want to hold up a side of it since people can't see it on camera. Yes.
It's actually it shows up better this way. It's red and blue navy plaid. So I was
I was
like,
gonna say it goes with your ranunculus.
yeah, I was
Look at
like,
that.
I'll make a dress so that I can wear my ranunculus. Otherwise, I have to wear an old
She's
dress.
coordinating and stuff. I really like the most I do is like I won't wear my green t-shirt with my green pants because they're really different colors of green. But other than that, I don't do much when it comes to dressing myself in the morning. Okay. So
I do have just a couple more
that's okay.
because so tomorrow starts sock day or sock knit along month.
Sock day.
Sock day. Tomorrow's
I'm-
the first day of the sock knit along.
Yeah,
thing.
which is gonna go for like a month or two before I put any more knit along stuff in the pipeline. But yes, please don't try to knit a socks in a day. You could, but your hands would really hurt.
Yeah.
You'd have to quit your job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I don't like deadlines.
So I started 4, and I think we hinted at that last week that I was starting for
For what?
ranunculi out of sock yarn.
This is her way to share with us the joys of a sock knit along. She's using sock yarn, but she's doing a lot. She's merging the knit alongs.
I'm
Look at that.
merging the knit alongs. So this one is Perth, and it's on an 11, and actually it's coming out really nice.
That is one of the same colorways I am using for my zigzag scarf that alternates colors. It's the Fraser Bay, I think.
Fraser
Fraser
Island.
something. I know it's Fraser something.
Yes. And then I am doing a cotton one out of the Regia Tutti Frutti.
And today's the
cotton,
last day. The Tutti Frutti is 15% off with the code product of the week.
and it is coming
I
out.
really want to
awesome.
make like summer socks out
It's
of
on a
some
10 and a
Tutti
half.
Frutti, but I also don't want to use up the Tutti Frutti if people want to buy it.
That's true. And then this one is self-patterning sock yarn.
Weren't you making another sweater out
I
of that? Did you
was.
rip it out?
Nope. It's somewhere at my house. So it still counts.
Okay.
So this one's kind of coming out cool and funky. And then just because, I have nothing else better to do.
Someone, because we had some discussion about knitting in the round and how it used to all be done on double points until we invented circular needles with cords. And so you went something like, oh, I have big, even sweaters were done on really long double points.
So I am doing a ranunculus on
Swish
size 11.
Size 11, really long double points.
Really long double
Swizzle
point.
stick double points that we do not carry at the
Nope.
shop. Please do not ask us to buy those from us. we will have to, you can ask in the comments, where'd you get those? And I will make Liz answer because it's somewhere.
It
I'm
was
like,
an Etsy shop.
I was gonna say it's Etsy
So,
or something.
yeah.
So, which is cool. We just don't have them at the shop.
So I'm going to do a whole Ranunculi on double points so that, you know, I can participate in the sock knit along because it's sock yarn and double points. Yay.
And what is the main reason you are not making socks with us? Or maybe the main two reasons?
The main two reasons is I don't like little itty bitty needles. And
is there another reason?
I've made socks and they were just, it was okay. I've experienced the joys of socks and they're just not me. Plus I don't wear socks that often. So
one of the reels I sent you was about not wearing shoes. Oh, she gets to watch that later. Yeah, Liz is often is shoeless and sockless here at the shop. I think if you were shoeless and had socks on, you'd be slipping a lot. Although we do have that texture in the floor, but still, it's you know. So you know, that's, I mean, and I think that's great for people who are like, I don't want to make socks. That's okay. You don't have to. These knit alongs are not like you must do this now. You can wait till the next knit along, and I don't know what that next knit along is going to be. So
the next couple of months are going to be exciting with the what should we do? I don't know. What should we do? But we have to pick something. I don't know.
I've picked, we're starting all this group stuff outside is the hope. And it looks like it's going to be a rainy month. So how much of that we're going to do, I don't know. But we don't like, this is the only unmasked in shop time that ever happens here right now. And for the foreseeable future. And having groups in here, even in masks, is a little new, and the shop's not really set up for it. So we're about to start groups outside if it doesn't rain on us, and we'll see how that goes. And some of that is classes, like in-person classes. And I've set up my in-person classes to be all about socks, since it's a sock knit along. And I don't know if there's that much interest in taking the classes, which is okay. You know, I wanted to put them out there because people wanted classes.
Over the last month,
it's not like we need classes, but we're trying to offer them.
We've had a lot of people come in and go, one-on-one lessons, that's awesome, or lesson help, that's great, but we want a class.
Yeah, but I want to meet other people.
And so we'll see how many of those people actually want a class.
Well, they probably want a class in something other than socks, and I'm not ready to do that yet.
They never specified.
Or if they do specify, it's going to be like, what?
It's something so terribly individualized that it's hard to.
It's like people coming in saying, I want a book on Afghans. I want a book of patterns, but only on scarves. I want a book of patterns, but only on, and it's like, that's really hard to have everything everybody wants. So it's a work in progress. We're testing the waters with sock stuff. And I have been, so the sock knit along, I suddenly went, oh, my yarn's not attached. I finished the sock with this. That's why my yarn's not attached. I had a panicky moment of like, my yarn broke. No, it didn't. I cut it. Maybe I'm not as awake as I think. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. It's phantom awakeness. So I picked 3. I do still have all my needles sitting in my socks. I picked 3 different sock patterns for the knit along for people who want something to be selecting from. And for anyone who doesn't like those selections, pick whatever you want, make a sock. Yay! Okay. We've said that many times on the show, but I'm just reiterating. So I have 3 socks going here in various states, but because that's all I've been knitting on, I've actually made a fair amount of progress. I've even finished the one that's only an anklet. It's so great. So these are my 3. I'm doing them one at a time. And some people swear by doing them 2 at a time. And I figured 1 at a time to get samples ready for the classes. And also, you know, for anyone out there who's like, but I'm behind. No, it doesn't technically start till tomorrow. You can start whenever you want. There are people on the Facebook knit along page who started well in advance, but the same thing happened with the Ranunculus, you know. Yes. I started in advance because I'm in charge and I have to, or I should. I know should is a shame word, but it applies. So so let's go through the socks and what I have done so far. And I just remembered I use these little stitch markers with the different beads on them for this one, the Rose City roller, because I use double points. All these double points. Watcha, watcha. So I don't have it to show you on the double points because I finished it this morning. Everybody like I find people who make socks really have their preferred way of making socks, whether it's the double points or there are more methods than the 3 that I chose. The 3 main ones are double points, magic loop, which is 1 really long circular, and 2 circular needles. Now there's variations on this. There's the Addy Flexi Flips, which we do not carry, but you could make your own through some tips and cords we have from Chowgu. I think Amy D really likes Flexi Flips.
Yes.
So it's a variation on this where there's maybe less of a chance of having laddering going on. I think in all of mine, I've got mild laddering going on, and I just have to let go of that. But long story, circling back long, this morning I couldn't find the little Ziploc that these itty bitty stitch markers come in. So they're at the bottom of my sock in here that I finished. There's 1, 2, 3. I hope I didn't lose one. Oh no, it's just stuck in here. Okay. So I'm gonna put them back in my little Ziploc now, so I don't lose. They're so teeny tiny.
That is very creative, and the fact that you used your double points to keep the top of your sock closed.
I did. I used it to sandwich them. I was gonna keep them safe. I found when I was eating breakfast, I found the little Ziploc because the package for these guys, it comes with a little Ziploc so you can keep them safe. And I will say the little, like, it was cute, and it's a good idea because this is the first time I used 4 double points instead of like 3. So I could have things split in even numbers. And I had these on there to know which was needle 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, you don't have to, but if you're trying to keep track, that can be a good way. The dangly kind of almost got in my way, but not quite. If it's your first time doing double points, the double points themselves might be enough hassle, but usually people like some way of knowing which one is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you could end up with a heel in a weird place or something. I don't know. But I'm offering a class. This is the Rose City Roller, and I've made 1 now. Yay! And I'm offering a class on this in person. We're going to split it up over 2 sessions, 2 weeks apart, just to give you time and space to work on your sock. So in theory, there's a lot going on cuffed down to try to get all of this done in 1 class, but we'll try on Saturday if anyone signs up. Saturday is also White Squirrel Festival here in town, so it's going to be busy in terms of parking, street closures and stuff. And that could be another reason why we don't have a ton of people signed up right now.
Yeah.
But again, if no one signs up for this class, I'd just do something else. You know, I'll have some time to sell yarn to people. This one is, apart from having a different cuff on it, it is very much a classic cuff down heel flap, turn, and gusset. If you want to learn like a basic standard sock, and then decreases and a Kitchener bind off. And I've made a lot of socks like this. I actually, my dad was saying over the weekend, I made worsted weight socks for everybody in the family, adults in the family, one Christmas. And he says he still wears them and they're holding up awesome. And I think it's that nylon content. I made it out of something that had wool, washable wool and nylon in it.
Yeah.
It's a self-patterning Fair Isle yarn that we have. But that was also a classic cuff down traditional sock shape. I like all of these for different reasons, I gotta say. So let me try this on for y'all. It's not as tight as this sock. I had to make some guesstimations, but ta-da!
It looks cute.
Isn't it cute?
It is.
And it's self-patterning yarn. It's the Wacky Sacky that we just got more in. I haven't tested this out yet. I think once I make a full pair, I might test them out and see how they are. If you really want it, like I can already feel it pulling at my heel a little bit, going in and out of shoes. So, but sometimes the only way to know how, if starting the toe earlier is something I might consider on my next one. Sometimes the only way you figure that out is to make a pair and then make notes on what didn't work perfectly. Like, this still fits pretty well. It just might be a little loose, so I can adapt it for next time. So that was really fun to make. The second, let's see, I'm doing class on this. So this one is June 4th and June 18th. I have to do math or remember dates, and neither one's coming quickly this morning, for different parts of it. And ideally, we get this part done. I got to see, it's a lot to get done in one class, but, and then you can do some knitting from here to here in the 2 weeks between classes. And then we get to do the toe on the second class. That's the idea. We'll see how it goes. The other one I'm going to do classes on, again, this is in person, so people who are far away, I'm sorry that we don't have that option, because Zoom classes have been challenging for me, especially because we're here so much of the time. I can't do it while the shop is open, but I can do in-person classes while the shop is open. So I'm gonna make some videos on some parts of these, but not every single section, because I really think there's something to be said for giving the pattern writer the credit they're due. The second pattern that I am engaging in is Mina's vanilla sock recipe. It's written for either cuff down or toe up on magic loop. And again, any of these you can use a different method of small circumference knitting on. You don't have to use what it's written for. I just am, because I'm a recipe follower, so that people who come into the shop know. I'm doing the toe up. I did my first Judy's Magic cast on for the toe here. I'm very happy with it. I'm using one of our new colors of Heritage, Cascade Heritage prints. It's Sulphur Lake Stripe. It's actually kind of fun.
I like it.
What was really cool is, for my size, I went through an entire color repeat, and it was perfect at that color repeat to decide to turn the heel. I was at just the right length to turn the heel. And then the heel turn, this is a short row heel. And this is one, I'm not going to be doing a video on this because she's already done a video on this. And she asked me, because she already has it out there, not to do another one. And I said, okay. It's part of what comes with buying the pattern, is you get the link to her video. So it's got one of the short row heels where you do wraps, German wraps and turns to go in, and then you're also doing wraps and turns on the way out. And it's okay. It's the nice thing about it is you don't have all those sections, you just have a little diagonal line. Liz can see it here more than you guys can. There's gappiness. I mean, it's not holes, but there's gappy stretchiness. And I don't really think there's a way to solve that. I think the heel I used to do had German short rows going in, but then slipping stitches and not doing more German short rows on the way out. But this is a very traditional way of doing a heel. And I know some of you who are sock knitters are going to be, if you have solutions or other heels, put them in the comments. That's great. I don't know if I'll be able to get around to all of them. And I'm not as well versed in all of them. But I think I've actually gotten up to the point where, because I just did straight knitting, you can do all kinds of, she says, like, do whatever kind of patterning or ribbing you want, but make sure you do, like, say 20 rows of ribbing at the top. So I just knit. And I think I'm at a height where I am happy to start the 20 rows of ribbing at the top, because one of the rules of thumb, shout out to Carol, to one of our knitters, is if you want a classic cuff sock, like not an anklet, is to make it like when you fold it in half. So here's my folding in half. It should be like the foot is as long as the cuff. And I'm almost there. If anything, my 20 rows of ribbing is going to make it longer than the toe. But I've also just hit my second repeat of the color patterning. So for me, it was aesthetically pleasing to go until I hit a spot where I would be happy. Like, I'm in the gray right now, which the gray after the second red, because there's 2 different reds and like a bunch of different greens or a grello in there. This is actually a thick gray spot where the transition into the ribbing hopefully will look nice. And I thought it was really cool that the short rows here, the green and the way back out took it to gray, so that I don't have anything chunky and weird where I stopped on the top for a little bit and did the heel and then went back. It kind of looks smooth. Apart from there's 3 green stripes down here and only 2 up here, kind of worked. And that was a happy accident. So I'm gonna stick this one on now.
It's been a week of happy accidents.
Yes.
Because with self-patterning sock yarn, sometimes it can be difficult to get the exact same.
Mm-hmm. And Liz had a happy accident with one of her ranunculi. I'm gonna just show this off.
It's so cute.
It's it. See? And then 20 rows of ribbing on top of that. I think that'll be nice. Doo-doo-doo. If anything, this one's not as snug as my machine made socks either. But if they're too snug, then they're too snug, you know. So I'm just going with it. I also, for both of these, this is knit on a 1.5 needle. US 1.5. My double points were US 1s. And my last one that I'm making is on 0s. But the happy accident with Liz is you had an issue, like it was doing self-stripey stacking things, and then you realized your stitch count was off and you had to redo it, but it did it again, right?
It did it again.
It's so cool. Is that one of the ones you have here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the one on the
It's
double
the
points
one
that
on the
you've
double
already
points
twisted
that I've
all up
already
and
twisted all up. But like the self pattern, the bits that would do Fair Isle looking things, they actually almost stack to where it looks like I have vertical stripes.
it looked really cool. And then she was worried it wouldn't do it again when she had the right stitch count, and it kind of did anyway. So yay. All right, the last one that I am making, and since I'm not doing class on this because, okay, no show notes, people. This one, the class is going to be, there's 2 classes, and it's going to be the 11th, which is actually Worldwide Knit and Public Day, and the 25th. And for this one, the 11th will start with the toe, and then you'll have a chance to knit from the toe to where the heel is going to be for the 25th. And then we do the heel. And then you get to finish on your own. So that's Mina's vanilla sock recipe. And then this is the perennial favorite of Hermione's everyday sock. And excuse me, this one I'm doing with one of our local hand dyes. This is a bamboo, nylon, and wool blend, and it's the Succulent Success. And it's kind of almost doing a little stripey thing with little flecks of color. It's been really fun.
It looks so cool.
It's cute. So there's a little bit of a texture pattern going on here. It's very mild and easy to do, but it's multiples of 4. And then the heel. So here's something fun to show y'all. This is a classic ribbed heel where you're knitting and slipping on the right side. Little stretchy, little bit of like we've got slip stitches on the inside to add some more durability to the heel. This one's an Eye of Partridge heel. And if you can see, we don't have the stretchy ribbed look of this one. But you still have some stretch and some give, and it alternates. The slip stitches on the right side alternate. It also looks cool if you have a variegated yarn, like a stripy or variegated yarn. It can look really cool. And it's a little thicker in a way. They're both kind of thick, but it's fun. And
I like it.
You can always substitute heels. Like I could have taken an Eye of Partridge heel and done this with an Eye of Partridge heel, but then I'm not following the pattern. So telling someone what to do, there's extra instructions, but you can do whatever you want at home.
You have issues like because you have to follow patterns so you can tell people exactly what happens. Yeah,
I have to be a recipe follower.
Yes.
Now, if I compare this to this, the cuff on this, because I went cuff down. The cuff on this is a lot higher. Not a lot higher, actually. Trying to line up where the heel starts.
Close.
It's yeah. This one feels like it's huger, and I actually don't know if I've put this one on my foot at all. So yeah, I'll get to see my bare foot because I haven't done the bottom of this one yet. Ooh, toes. But this is how high my cuff is. I wouldn't want my cuff any higher than this because it's starting to hit a spot on my calf that is bulky. So we'll see. But see, there's my heel flap. Toes. But that actually, even though off the needle, it looks kind of big, off the foot, it looks kind of big. It fits okay. Hermione's is written for one size only. And I put out a video on Magic Math on primarily just how to figure out what sweater size to make if you're not getting gauge. But I had a second section to it, which is if you know your gauge and you want to make a sock that's a different size for Hermione's than what's listed, I give you some tips on starting that. You need to figure out a lot of other things on that, though. It's not how to magically make the sock work. It's how to figure out your cast on based on your foot size. So shout out to Jeff, because I think he was interested in this, or he's interested in Hermione's, but not the one size it's written for. Once you figure out your cast on size, though, there's other things that you need to work with based on knowledge of socks. Like where to do the heel turn. It's not going to be in the same place because you have a different number of stitches. And what to do about the toe. And I am not as well versed. I could try, but I couldn't just whip that out yesterday. I could do some more thoughts on it in the future if I have time and energy. Because with all three of these, there's sections I might do helpful tips and tricks and hints videos on, but they're not all going to come out probably when people want them to come out, because there's one of me and a whole week's worth of work. And I usually do one video every Monday. Now with the Ranunculus, I did multiple videos on Mondays. I don't know if I can do that again. That was very exhausting. I enjoyed it, but it was very exhausting. So we'll see. I've got all these socks. Yay. And I did all this crazy knitting. But then with the classes coming up, like for these two, I was going to start the second one with the class, which means I might take a break from socks for a little bit. Or we brainstormed about this with friends.
Yes.
Because there is a lot of hand-dyed yarn out there that might be sock content. And we have some in the shop. We don't have a ton right now because our bestest, friendest, indie dyerists. I mean, we have many that we love, but Daydream Dye Works, who's one of our more constant in the shop for the longest time now, she stopped dyeing yarn, and that's okay. She needs to do what she needs to do. But she had stuff that would make awesome socks, and we just don't have as much left in the shop as we used to. However, and I have a couple of skeins of her yarn at home. It has sparkle in it. I don't know if I'm going to make sparkle socks or not.
You don't want sparkle socks?
I might. I just don't know if I want to use the last couple skeins of hers that I have for socks. I haven't decided yet. Decisions are hard. But we're getting, so we have one skein of this left in the shop right now, and we're getting more in soon, very, very soon, because Yarn Baby, who's our bestest Colorado dyer, indie dyer, she dyed these two colors for us for local yarn store day to kind of coordinate and work together. They work really well on their own. There's The Mountains Are Calling, based on the Blue Ridge Mountains with azaleas and rocks and things, and it's so cool. And then we have the White Squirrel Shuffle, because Brevard is known for white squirrels. And it's white with just a hint of speckly of gray, because that's the white squirrels around here have a littlest bit of gray, like a little bit right here, you know, and a little bit of speckles of this color in it. And I really want to make socks.
Saw a white squirrel doing the white squirrel shuffle on the way in today in front of my car, and I said, you better run.
You better run. The white squirrels shuffle across the road when they should be running.
It's like do 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 do
do do do do do, hey, and then they do a little jiggle in the middle of the street, and it's like, no, get out of the way, I don't want to hit you. So they also do that little jiggle on power lines, but they're safer there as long as they don't fall off. So I was thinking about, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I want to make socks out of these. I want to wait for the new batch to come in, because this is all we have. If someone wants to buy this right now, go for it. And then Liz had the idea of I should make one sock out of each color. That's so cute. That actually means I could make 2 pairs of socks. So that led me to thinking that I should do 1 pair toe up and 1 pair cuff down, like 2 at a time.
Yeah.
So on the needles, you can see the 2 different socks. And then Amy D threw in the extra fun thing of, to make them coordinating and fun, have the cuffs, just the top little ribbing part, and the heels and the toes, because that's a very traditional thing, is to make those three things out of something else. So like this sock has cuffs and heels and toes of this color, and this sock has cuffs and heels and toes in this color. And we shout out to Kim. She at the very beginning of all this said, you should do kits with mini skeins, and oh my gosh, and it's so cool. And we don't have mini skeins here really, and I wasn't going to be able to source them in time, and putting together kits was going to be challenging. So that was a very awesome idea. And we're going to have to leave it with people to make their own kits and get their own stuff. Oh, I should say, that reminds me, but I'm squirreling just a little bit.
World.
So we're not making kits for this knit along, because it really is traditionally, if you're not changing up heels and toes and cuffs, which are great if you have stash that of just like part of a skein, do that yourself. But we're not making kits because we're not assembling things just for that. What I did do, and it's a little wonky with our online shop, but what I did try to do is I made a new category in the online shop. So, you know, we've got the kits, we've got patterns and books. We have yarn, we have needles, all those things. We have the product of the week that we swap out what's in there. There is a new category in the online shop right now that says crochet along or knit alongs, some variation of that. It should be recognizable on the site. And then there's a drop down menu for that. There's sub menus. So if you just click on that and don't use the drop down further, this is the caveat. Like I could make the category, but then I couldn't make it when you only click on the knit along to take you to clickable things for each one. But there's subcategories. Like when you go to Notions on our site, if you hover on it, or I think on the phone, if you click on it, you can then click on a sub menu to go to only Katrinkles or only Coconuts, but if you only click on Notions, it takes you to all the Notions we have. So unfortunately, that's what it did with the knit alongs, where if you just click on the knit along category, it will bring up all the recommendations we have for yarn and kits and patterns and things for all that. And we've done we're on our third knit along starting tomorrow. But if you take the time to wait and see the sub and find where the sub menus are, you can click on sock knit along. And what I've tried to do in there is put these two patterns are free. You can get them on Ravelry. This one is a pay pattern that if you don't have access to Ravelry, we can get for you. And if you're buying yarn for one of these two and you want one of these patterns, let us know in the notes. But this one, the link to buy it from our site is on this knit along, the sock knit along grouping. And then most of either the self-patterning yarns we've been talking about or the hand dyes that should work for socks, I tried to dump in there to assist you with finding something that will work for the current knit along. So I did the same thing for Ranunculus, where I mean, anything lace weight to worsted weight technically will work for the Ranunculus. But in that subcategory, I put some of our favorites, either that Liz and I have been working on or people have ordered for a Ranunculus. So things that we think would lend themselves to a Ranunculus. They're all different weights for that one. And then in the Echo Point one, there's a link to like the Echo Point kits we still have left, that kind of stuff. And a few of the choices, DK choices that might be nice if you'd like to try an Echo Point shawl. That was our January knit along. So I was busy over the weekend, but I only made one video about magic math instead of anything about, well, it kind of related to the sock knit along, but it kind of, because it was about if you want to make a different size of this, I could get you jump started on that. There's so many other videos I want to make for tips and tricks, but that takes so much longer than what we do here. Here we film and then I edit for like 2 minutes when I have a chance to put our credits on the end and cap it and take out anything in the middle that might have gone wonky. Usually it doesn't. Usually we just leave all the wonkiness in. Tips and tricks, there's a lot more editing that happens. And so more than one video a week is extremely challenging. So we will see what we get to. If you just can't wait for videos about socks, dive in. The worst that will happen, I think, is you have to rip it out again.
It sticks and string.
Sticks and string. It's all good. And if you're using appropriate sock yarn, it should hold up to being ripped out a couple times. And if it doesn't hold up, it's not going to be a very durable sock. So anyway, we have sit and stitch tonight.
Yes.
We have 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. Shop phone number to get in.
828-877-3550.
Yay! We are going to be filming a VSC tomorrow. Maybe some sock yarn. Maybe we'll put a few things on sale that aren't sock yarn. We'll see. We haven't decided yet. I have thoughts.
We don't ever decide.
I haven't talked to Liz about it. So it's
Wednesday
true.
morning.
It's true. And then we have our first in-person sit and stitch. If you'd like to come hang out on the gazebo or somewhere on the plaza with us from 10 to 12 in the morning. So in-person sit and stitch outside. Please wear a mask to come inside if you need to for any reason. We'll see how that goes. Thursday is Dear Becky and Lizzie. And I think we have one question that was a comment on a video from last week that we could talk about a little bit.
We have an email question and the
Oh, that's right.
potential of another email question.
Like someone told you they're going to email you?
Someone texted me and said, hey, what's your email address for Dear Becky and Lizzie? Because we couldn't find it. And I was like,
it's in almost every description.
Yeah, I know.
But I put a lot in the description. So if people don't want to look through it or don't have a way to look through it, some formats of watching YouTube, it's not as easy to get to the description. But I don't have the tech savvy to put links in this video. This is like point and click type of deal for us. So we'll see. We might have a lot to talk about on Thursday. That'll be fun. We'll see what we get to. And then we have another sit and stitch Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with that shop phone number again.
Do you need it?
She took a breath. Go ahead.
828-877-3550.
All right.
Whenever you say shop phone number, even when you're on Facebook Live, I'm like, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Okay. And if you're going to email questions to Liz, it's
Liz@sundragonartandfiber.com.
all spelled out. Okay. So we're going to go, and anything we forgot, we'll try to talk about next time. So, because we should open the shop because it's 10 o'clock. So bye. I'm going to do one last check of. Yeah, we're still at $9.99. So, yeah. Bye.
Ooh, that looks so cool.
Oh, show that off as that's the cotton.
The cotton and the watermelon and
Totally free.
it's so cool.
Yay.